talk about fears. Let's talk about love. Yeah, I got fears, but I ain't got no love.
Bob Crane was a known sex addict, and he would videotape his encounters with his sexual conquests. He was a good-looking gentleman, and he was a Hollywood actor when that meant something. And when back then, up until a few years ago, I believe that really meant something, which means he got a lot of women. So he would videotape them. He did this with, I believe he did this previous to, but his friendship with this John Carpenter really, they would videotape these women together. And let me preface this by saying, I've done research on this and I watched that movie a while ago, but I don't know everything about it. So what I like to do sometimes is videotape this, get it out to you guys, because experts in this case, or in any case that I do, always will comment. Some good, some bad. The good ones, are the ones that I'm looking for. And they can answer certain questions that I still have. And then I'll do a follow-up video when I know a little bit more. But I like to think this out with you guys. So anyhow, that got me to my research on this. The crime scene was a hotel room. So it's not like it's a house that's in the Hollywood Hills or anything like that. It happened in Scottsdale, Arizona. He was there filming, not filming, but doing a Broadway play, I want to say, or some sort of play. His friend, John Carpenter, had met. I thought there was some, and I certainly would never degrade a victim or a victim's family. So I don't want to speak out of turn here. But I do want to mention that it seems to me that I remember something mention of maybe John Carpenter and him having a sexual relationship. I don't know if that's correct, and I do not want to be taken at liberty on that. But I thought I heard it somewhere. That would change the dynamics of this. That's why I bring it up. My assessment would be different. So if anybody knows, please let me know. But from what I see, I look at the crime scene. There was actual video footage of the deceased, in this case, Bob Crane, on the bed. The way he's laying, he was found by a co-worker who, I guess he had not shown up for work or for the reading of some lines that he was going to have with one of his co-workers. She found him. What I don't know about this is whether the door was locked, how she ended up in there, whether she got an apartment manager or what. That's important too. I need to know whether that door was locked. She found him. From what I researched, what I read, she found him with a blanket over his head. That's significant. When I watched the video of the crime scene that they took, he did not have that over his head, so maybe it was pulled back already. But he was laying on his right side, and he was obviously beaten about the head, blunt force trauma to the left side of his ear, his temple. The coroner's report said that he had before the coroner's report, this medical examiner, and they show this, actually climbs up into this bed over top of the victim and starts shaving with a straight razor the guy's head because he wants to look at the wounds. That would not fly today. I'm going to tell you right now. Shouldn't have flew back then. He wanted to get a better look at the wounds. Well, can't you do that a controlled environment at an autopsy table. You don't want to do that at a crime scene. Unprofessional, stupid is what it was. But anyhow, the crime scene showed he had 2 blows to his head that caused his death. What is very significant is he had an electrical cord around his neck. That shows me something as well, and I'll get into that. There was blood spatter, and know that I say spatter, not splatter. That's how you'll know whether you're talking to an expert or not. When you're watching these YouTube videos, if they say blood splatter and not blood spatter, you know they're a rookie. So in this case, on the wall, there was blood spatter. He was hit very hard. They determined that a tripod from a camera was used as a murder weapon. It matched up with the wounds, but also there was a blood pattern on the sheet that matched up to the missing tripod. So what do I see? As a crime scene assessment, what do I see? He was sleeping. He was on his right side, asleep when he was murdered. No struggle. He was not awake. The cord around his neck is not the cause of death. He didn't die from asphyxiation or strangulation because there's no struggle. There's nothing to indicate that. That cord was placed on his neck either ante-mortem or peri-mortem while he was dying. So either after death or during death. That cord was wrapped around his neck. To me, that shows an inexperienced killer that did not know that he was already dead. But it also very well could show that they wanted to ensure death. Another thing that really stands out to me in this case is the weapons. Okay? The offender, in this case, was comfortable there because they chose a weapon of opportunity. They didn't bring a knife. They used what was in the room. Normally, I would say that is indicative of maybe an argument that takes place. You're there talking, something gets heated, you grab a weapon of opportunity, in this case, a tripod. But he's asleep. So the victim is comfortable. So I have to know whether there was no signs of forced entry, but that doesn't not mean that he didn't lock the door. I need to know what type of locks were on that door. Could somebody just come in like a burglar and grab that? No, I don't see that. This is somebody that Bob Crane knew. It has to be, because it's a weapon, and I'm sorry, I'm thinking this through. I always do this when I start talking to you guys. I start thinking it through. It's a weapon of opportunity. So, but it's not an argument, because he's asleep and he's laying comfortable in the bed. So, if the door is locked and there's no forced entry, it would have to be somebody that's inside with him that he's comfortable with. There was indications of a white, flaky substance in his pubic hair, which was not collected, which is also a big mistake. To me, that was more than likely semen. Or evidence of sexual activity with a female of some sort. And then, if I was there, I would have checked the shower. I would have checked the bathtub. Is it wet? If he had sex, did he take a shower afterwards? If he did, that substance should not be there. If the shower is not wet, the tub is not wet, then that tells me that he got done having sex with the person. She was supposed to stay there with him because he fell asleep. Maybe she discovered that she was being recorded and was so angry that she grabbed that. Again, I don't see that. I don't see that when I'm sitting here thinking it out with you guys. Wouldn't she just wake him up and say, what's this? You recording us? And then maybe, but I don't see her just reacting and grabbing something and hitting him with it. So I think we can debunk that. And if John Carpenter was in that room, would Bob Crane just go to sleep? I don't buy that either. He's just going to go to sleep in his underwear on the bed. And I need to know how big that apartment is. It doesn't look that big, but was there 2 beds in there? If there's just 1 bed and a bathroom, I don't think he's just going to go to sleep and let this John Carpenter there to do what? It doesn't make sense to me. So, to me, when you start deducing and you're looking at possibilities and probabilities, to me, it seems, man, I guess this is kind of a contradictory type of case, because with the weapon of opportunity, no signs of a struggle, you would think that person would have had to been in that room with him. So I need to know whether the door was locked or unlocked. That's key. No pun intended if somebody had a key. I have to know that. If that tripod is the murder weapon.
I